Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name's Dennis Den. In studio, I've got Dorian.
What's up, guys? It's your boy.
Also again, for the second time.
Through the magic of Sky.
No,
I'm here.
You're in studio. You were here for the Borderlands 3 event.
Yeah.
Caboose.
Yeah.
You and Dorian, we know that's one of the many things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Borderlands 3. We're going to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer. We're going to talk about
what a masterpiece.
All the new VR headsets revealed and some other cool stuff.
Cool.
So let's get started right off the bat. You two guys went to the Borderlands 3 event where they revealed the gameplay. You guys got hands-on gameplay with that. You interviewed one of the developers as well. How was the overall event?
We didn't just get like games and stuff. We also got jackets.
Yeah. Rocket Borderlands.
Yeah, we got the vault symbol and everything. There's like a bandit mask on the back as well. That's pretty cool.
He didn't let me know he was wearing it today, so I was walking in like thinking. I walked in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna be the only one to have this, and then here comes Caboose. So,
yeah.
But
I had to steal your thunder a little bit. Yeah, and I mean, admittedly, it looks a lot better on me.
All right. Let's get back to the actual event. So the reveal event itself, when we walked in, it was pretty awesome. Just like walking in, we open the door, you see a bunch of different art styles of all the different characters. I'm not too familiar with, but I thought they looked great. And then there was a bar, so I hit that up. But
the food was seasoned.
The
sure,
food
you're
was
old enough to
seasoned.
drink, Dorian.
Caboose is younger than me, so Caboose, are you?
Don't speak to your elders like that. I agree with Dorian. It was a really cool event. They had some really awesome stuff there. Definitely a lot of Borderlands themed things. They had these really amazing statues that were specifically for the villains of the game. You know, the Calypso twins, as they're called, and they were super incredibly detailed. The event was great. I thought the venue was great, and the energy in the room was, everyone was excited to see some more Borderlands. Like, we all were hyped that we finally got to know the game exists. And now we got a deep dive into the gameplay, and everything that they showed really blew me away. I didn't know how much further they were going to expand the world of Borderlands in Borderlands 3, but they're going all out with this one, and it shows. Yeah.
And then the developers actually said, like the presenters, they said this was, if you're not familiar with the game or if you don't know anything, this is like the best jumping off point to like go into. So I was all on board with that. But after I started doing the actual gameplay, I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to go back and actually play the second and first one because I think the original one came out like 2009 or something.
2009.
Yeah, and so I wasn't mature. I wasn't looking at the world of video games like with a more intellectual standpoint. I'm still not, but actually like now I could appreciate it because it kind of reminded me of like Apex. In a way.
Apex Legends graphic style, not quite as cartoony as Borderlands, but it's definitely more cartoony than, let's say, like a Doom or a Quake or whatnot.
Borderlands is kind of what put that whole cel-shaded style on the map. That's what made Borderlands so much of a draw, because even looking back at Borderlands 1, it is a little bland, outside of the DLC, which I thought ended up making the game a lot better. Borderlands 1 is a bit of a bland game, but I think what brought so many people and what had so many eyes on the game was that cel-shaded style. So they've really made that their own, and everything we're seeing so far in Borderlands 3 has me really impressed. You can travel to different planets now, so you can leave the solar system, which I thought was really cool. And I can't wait to see what kind of different environments we're going to have, different biomes, and the guns are awesome. The gun with legs is the coolest thing ever. So you can do this thing with the gun with legs where you can have 5 of them out at once. So you shoot a little bit and then reload, and you can do that, and there's 5 guns just chasing down enemies and shooting them. It's amazing. I saw somewhere online that there's a rocket launcher that shoots hamburgers. I am so excited to see how creative they got with the guns in Borderlands 3. And just this tiny snippet that we got from this reveal event has me incredibly hyped.
And the fact that they're showing it or giving us this like demo so early, doesn't come out till like...
Not till September.
Yeah, September. But I think you pointed out one thing. You said you were cautiously optimistic about the villains, hoping like this one's different. So
that is the one drawback that I took from the actual reveal event is, so anyone who's a Borderlands fan knows, in Borderlands 2, they had this character, his name was Handsome Jack, one of the greatest video game villains of all time. He is so like charismatic, funny as hell. The writing around the character is fantastic. And I have a feeling, just from what we saw, the little bit, and that's why I don't want to fully judge it, because we've only seen such a little amount, but the little amount that we've seen from the villains in this game, the Calypso twins, it seems like they're treading old ground there a little bit. Like, the writing of the characters are very much make fun of you, crack jokes constantly, be charismatic. So I hope they're not just trying to just do a redo and just make a clone of what they did with Handsome Jack, but with different character traits. So we'll see when we find out more, when we see a little bit more, how I feel about that specifically. But that's the only worry that I had, and it's a minor one at that, because I mean, Handsome Jack was so good. So even if they did clone him and made a villain that was very similar, they understand that they pretty much struck gold with the previous character, so it makes sense.
And you guys got, what, an hour worth of gameplay?
About an hour and a half.
Yeah, 20 minutes, and because we had to cut it short for the interview.
For the interview,
Yeah.
So we got about hour 30 minutes or so, and then I played as Amaya, and you played as Zane.
Yeah, so you played as Amara. She's the siren character of this game, and what did you think of Amara?
I thought she was dope. Like I found myself, I kept forgetting that there was actual special abilities. So I was just too enthralled in the actual gun. So I rarely used that, but I thought the gameplay, her style or whatever, was pretty fun, and just going around. I swear, like, if the other Borderland game is like this, I could see myself playing it for hours, like just going ham, because it like I did deadass just fighting those villains. They're not too complicated, and the weapons themselves are pretty good. And like you said, when you have those little ones that can run,
gun the legs,
you're just throwing those off at like constantly. So overall, I thought the gameplay itself was pretty fire.
Yeah, and I got to play as Zane. He is like the assassin character of this game. There was only those two playable characters available through this whole event. Zane is cool because, and I have to correct myself from the video that we made on Collider Games, he's the only character right now in Borderlands history who can have two special abilities attached to them. Usually with Borderlands characters, you have your special ability, and then you have your grenades. With Zane, you can have two special abilities. So I thought that was really cool. You can chain them together, and he's got some crazy different things that you can do with him. The skill trees were really nice. You know, that obviously brings a lot of value to the game, that you can upgrade a skill tree, level up, and get some cool things there. And I'm thoroughly impressed. It's just more Borderlands at the end of the day, so I can't complain. Yeah. I'm happy.
What was this whole thing going on with the microtransactions? They had said they weren't doing them, and then they are, but they're not what you think. They're not. Okay.
So Randy Pitchford, works at Gearbox, pretty much the face of the company. He was on stage during the presentation. He had mentioned, this game's not going to be pay to win. There aren't going to be microtransactions. It's not going to be like loot boxes or any of the garbage that you see in those mobile games, right? But he also said, obviously you can get things like heads and skins because you can customize your characters in Borderlands. And we don't want to call anybody out, so I'll just say in a very vague way that someone on Twitter, a big reputable gaming company, had put out a headline that essentially made Randy Pitchford seem like he was lying when he said that there weren't microtransactions in the game, because technically, yes, there are. You can buy the cosmetic items with real money based on what we're hearing. And Randy Pitchford was not happy. He was not happy that article got published in the way that it was. And honestly, if you're asking me, I kind of agree with Randy. I feel like in the sea of positivity that was that Borderlands 3 reveal event, what was the intention in putting an article out there like that brings a little bit of a negative light on Borderlands 3, other than to, let's get the clicks, let's get people coming.
Clickbait.
Because, come on, cosmetic items as microtransactions, that's not a big deal.
Well, you're not forcing anyone to purchase these items to get ahead.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, they're not gaining some sort of advantage. This is purely cosmetic.
And even then, it's like that's not even like a big draw with Borderlands. What your character looks like. The big thing about Borderlands is the guns and the crazy villains and the environments and stuff. So as long as all that stuff is not predatory and they don't bring in microtransactions that make it pay to win, then what is there really to complain about? And the biggest defense that Randy Pitchford had is that, hey, he admitted that you can get the cosmetic stuff and you can pay for the cosmetic stuff. But when it comes to the words pay to win, loot boxes, microtransactions, in the grand scheme of things, there aren't any of that in Borderlands 3.
Yeah, cosmetic stuff has been around for a while that people have paid for. And it's a different, level of I don't know how to say it, like ethics, I guess, in a way, in terms of both
Morally,
from both from the company side and from the player side.
Yeah.
One player side paying for things that give you advantages in games.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well then you're just gonna, if you have a ton of money, you'll just beef up your character to X amount and then getting an unfair advantage. Or B, the company using these things to get almost like, in a sense, almost like gambling in a way, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and that's why it got so bad with games like Battlefront, Battlefront 2, because that's essentially what it was at that point. You were making people gamble to win cool stuff in your games.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. So the fact that it's not in Borderlands 3 in that capacity, there really shouldn't be anyone complaining.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea in games where you progress to a certain level and then they throw you random items to unlock, but that's not, you're not paying, you're earning them through play.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So
same with all the weapons and stuff in Borderlands 3. If it's anything like Borderlands 2 or the first game, which they said that it will be, you got to grind to get the cool guns. You got to kill that awesome boss a couple of times and get lucky to get that awesome weapon drop. So, I don't know.
I mean, isn't like Borderlands known to be like a grind? It's a grinding game.
If you want to get the best stuff, you definitely got to grind it out.
Okay.
Yep.
How'd you guys like the event compared to the Mortal Kombat 11 one? The Mortal Kombat 11 was outside, right?
No. Actually, the Mortal Kombat, are we allowed to say this?
Wait, what?
That the Mortal Kombat venue was like...
I guess.
I mean, whatever. Either way, I think the Mortal Kombat venue overall, just the interior looked better.
Okay.
And the crowd, I feel,
was more hype.
Was a lot more hype.
Yeah, because this one, I think the Mortal Kombat one was more of a blend of influencers and press.
Yes.
This one was
Yes.
just all like mainly press. There were a couple of influencers.
That and the influencers that were like, there was a lot of influencers that were invited for Mortal Kombat. Like you can fill the whole room. Whereas Borderlands, yes, there were plenty of Borderlands fans. I'm not underselling it all. People cheered. People had a ton of fun with what we saw. But I think the attendance was a lot higher for Mortal Kombat, so it just felt more energized.
In Borderlands, they split into 2 days, right?
They did. They did. Yeah. So we went when there was more. It was
press.
more press.
Yeah, and then on the second day, it was they actually let the influencers that they invited. They twitched, and so we just had the gameplay, and we had to. We got our footage, but they actually got to just twitch it like
they got to
live
stream.
from there.
Yeah. It was really cool. I think one of the best moments as well of the whole presentation, there was a part where Randy Pitchford said, "Hey, here's everyone who's worked on the game," and they brought the entire team out.
That's cool.
That was awesome. They brought as far as I know, every single person who's worked on Borderlands 3, and that got the biggest pop from the crowd. Everyone was really happy to see that because it's cool to see, all the people who have even done something so minor with Borderlands 3 to be appreciated in some way and to be recognized. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, and I think that's I captured that moment on the. If you're watching right now, you can go to our video. We were able to capture that, so you can go see that part. But I will say the besides the gameplay, the food and the drinks, those were better than the Mortal Kombat.
Man.
But everything else, I would say they're like pretty similar. I just think that it was more hype because there was more people at the MK. But like Caboose said, there was a lot of passionate people there as well.
For sure.
And your boy was cheering. I didn't know at first what they were talking about, but I felt
got caught up with the momentum.
I got invested.
Nice. I mean, that's the thing. That's why they have those events to start getting the buzz, getting the word out. We're talking about it right now. And I know I saw the list of some of the E3. Obviously, Sony's not going to be there this year. Microsoft's going to be there in a big way. I know Halo Infinite was announced, but Borderlands 3 obviously is going to be there as well.
Borderlands 3 seems like it's going to be making the rounds. They're going to do E3. They're going to do Gamescom in Germany. They said they're going to be at Guardian Con, which is like a Destiny thing. And apparently when they announced that, like Guardian Con tickets, like they crashed the site, which is awesome. So yeah, it's great to see everyone super hyped about Borderlands 3. I hope for people like Dorian who have never played the franchise before, I know you as well.
I've played.
You've played? Oh, you played?
Yeah, I got the first two. I never finished either one of them.
But you played it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, I hope that a lot of fresh eyes get introduced to this game, and then I hope after they see how cool Borderlands 3 is, they go back and revisit the first game, the second game, and even the pre-sequel, although some people don't really like the pre-sequel, but I think it's still fine. But yeah, Borderlands, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I'm hyped. That was the game for me in 2009. I was a casual gamer before Borderlands came along, and then when that game came out, I logged so many hours. I can't even tell you. And that was kind of the first game where I was really hardcore into a game and wanted to get all the cool stuff and grind it out and stuff. So I'm happy that I got to attend this. This is really cool. It was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Some other news that came out, maybe not quite as impressive. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie trailer. Me and Thad did a trailer reaction on Collider Videos. You guys can check it out.
This is a masterpiece.
I mean, it's a consensus. I mean, I know people were like, oh, well, there's a minority of people who are like, I don't know what you're talking about. It looks fine to me. But that is it's like 99%. Like, what is this? And this is coming, and I'm telling you, I grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. You know, I had a Genesis, I had a Dreamcast, I had a Saturn. I had, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I played Sonic games. I know what Sonic looks like. I know his character.
It's not Sonic.
At least not from I mean, I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know personality-wise, but visually looking, it doesn't resemble Sonic.
I was watching the reaction video. There was a distinct moment, like when he's in the car and you first see him, like, or when he comes out with the light. And you see him for the first time. Just the disgust on you
with
and
the
that.
teeth.
It was bizarre, very weird looking. Like I said on that trailer reaction, like, okay, I understand you want to make this for kids, sure. Then make it cute, because that's what kids like. They want cute stuff. It's not cute. It's terrifying.
There's
freaky.
This other movie that's adapting characters from a game, and they did it extremely faithfully, and it works on all levels. It's this whole, what is it called? Detective Pikachu or something? Little indie movie.
Yeah.
It's the same formula as Sonic, based on a game or whatever, using characters from a video game and kind of modernizing it as real-life characters. And it looks perfect. Pikachu looks
because he looks cute still,
but not even that. But it looks like Pikachu.
Yes,
they've just enhanced the detail on the character.
They made fur,
and also the the music. I don't know why they decided
to
go
weird.
The Coolio Gangsta Paradise.
So weird.
Because I woke up it dropped at 5:45, 6 in the morning. I had to be up. So I was just like, what's going on? Like there was just so much. It was like. After that, I was just saying I did not want to see Sonic with teeth. I never thought I'd want to see that. But after
Sonic
seeing,
has
no.
like teeth,
no,
but they're
I mean,
like the straight line, not like actual teeth,
like human teeth. I was like, bro,
it's the same thing with the gloves. Like I had mentioned on there too. Like it just fades, and someone like yelled at me because he's like, Dennis, that happens in real life where like a color fades into another because it goes from blue to white. Mm-hmm. My point wasn't that it because it changed colors because. Why did they do that when hedgehogs are not blue anyways? Yeah. So just put white gloves on.
Yeah. There are so many designs out there where people like just redesigned the look of Sonic.
Just do it like the way they did Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like make him the same size he is in the game and then make him cute. Sure, make him furry. Look, in the games you can't see that he's furry, but sure, make him furry like the
just
Pikachu.
Like Detective Pikachu, yeah.
And that's it. Like you guys are probably too young for these movies, but he looks like Teen Wolf. Have you ever seen Teen Wolf?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean.
When Teen Wolf turned, Michael J. Fox turns into Teen Wolf and he's playing basketball, he's this long, lanky, furry guy.
Weird-looking thing.
Yeah. That's what he looks like.
Yeah. The director though actually like tweeted about like an hour ago. He was like, "We hear your complaints. Like we're gonna." Yeah, he announced it. He was
what?
Yeah, he said we're gonna fix it. He said we're gonna fix it.
Why didn't they hear it before? Because remember when those leaked pictures and the posters and all that stuff came out like several months ago?
I assume maybe it's because maybe it might be because they just couldn't say anything back then because a lot of it was leaked. But that is crazy.
Yeah,
but just don't even put out the trailer, man.
When's the movie scheduled to come out?
It's not
November 8th.
Yeah, it's not for a while. So look, if I were them and I knew like, oh man, everyone hates this
hit
design,
the red button.
be like, just don't put out the trailer. Look, Sonic the Hedgehog movie is not the next Avengers movie.
Definitely
it's not the next Batman movie. Mm-hmm. It's not the next Star Wars movie. So, in some ways, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And as many people are like, I need to see that trailer right now. When the hell is that trailer? I remember when was it the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer? People were going like,
we need it. We need it.
When is it coming out? Or when the Avengers one too, like the Endgame one. Like this isn't that.
There isn't that level of anticipation here.
So you can just hold on, stop, go back, fix things out. Because I know when those pictures leaked of the posters and whatnot, people were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Should have caught wind of that.
And I feel bad because I know plenty of people have probably worked really hard on animating this character in the way that it currently looks. And it sucks that their work hasn't been validated. But whoever sent this down the approval process and said, this is okay. Yeah.
Somebody. I saw a tweet that described it accurately. It was like, it said that it seemed like somebody who never had drawn Sonic got like first, somebody told him like what this was Sonic like.
That's a perfect way to explain it. It's like, somebody who didn't know what Sonic was just got a detailed explanation and went from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the director. This is his actual tweet. He says, "Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix it fast."
That is crazy. And he's right about that last hashtag because, man, that's going to be crunch time until November to redesign the whole character and throw it back into the movie.
They should just push it back till they should just delay it.
They probably should just delay the movie, but I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of damage has already been done.
Yeah.
They should have,
That's the problem as well. Is for some people this is the only trailer they'll have ever seen for the movie
because they won't watch another one.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I just don't understand it. Marketing, economics, business 101. Yeah. You're marketing something to kids. Make the thing cute so that people buy the merchandise. They're not just selling the movie; they want to sell merchandise.
And like Sonic looks good. His design looks fine.
No, I love the Sonic design.
It totally could work in the live action in the way that they're trying to do it. And I mean,
and to be fair, like the only part I didn't like, Sonic was really the only thing that I wasn't too on.
Right.
Everything else about that trailer, I was like, okay, this is
just fine.
You just fix Sonic. I think that'll you fix Sonic, delay it by a couple months, release it next year because I feel like now all they're gonna hear is comparison to Detective Pikachu. So it's like, hey, let's get away from that. Wait till that Detective Pikachu buzz dies down, and then release it next year when the actual thing is finished.
And you're right because I think one of the good parts of the trailer for me was Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I thought that was
Ace Ventura Part 3?
No, definitely it's Jim Carrey just going back to like
Ace Ventura,
Jim Carrey, Ace Ventura, Jim Carrey. But like it works. Yeah. And the last shot of the trailer where he's full on Eggman, I thought that was great.
Well, that's what we were looking for. We were like, oh, Dr. Robotnik. Yeah. Well, he doesn't look like Dr. Robotnik.
Where's the bald head and the weird mustache? Yeah. And he got that in the final shot of the trailer, which I hope is not
the final shot
end of the movie.
Yeah, that would suck.
But yeah, I mean, that part was for me what I was like, okay, this kind of actually excites me, but it all gets ruined every time Sonic's going to be on screen.
Like in Ben Schwartz's voices, I think he pulls it
off. Yeah, he fits. I just what I have a hard time picturing is some 7 or 8-year-old boy or girl holding a Sonic stuffed animal based on the movie version of Sonic. Like freaky.
Yeah.
He's got long, dangly, hairy legs.
It looks like a human got morphed into Sonic, you know?
Not good. Not good.
Just weird.
Yeah.
Just weird.
It is. It is very strange. All right. Let's move on back to some more positive news. This is something that we are very big on over here at Collider Games, especially our boss, Mark Fernandez.
You got some VR.
VR headsets revealed. Not just one, but 2 very important and big VR headsets. Let's start off the first one, Oculus Quest. It comes out on May 21st.
Oh, this is the one you've been telling me about.
Yes, this is the one actually Dorian got to play.
Nice.
Yeah.
He got to play Vader Immortal at Star Wars Celebration.
Cool.
This is the one that is... It's interesting because when we talk about the next one, which is Valve's Index VR, they're actually very, very different.
Okay.
So this one is completely wireless. It's a headset.
Yeah.
You're not tethered. There's no sensors, so it's completely like you buy it and then you just find a little area to sit in and you can play games.
No.
Obviously, it is not as highly powered as anything that's tethered to a PC,
right?
But there's a freedom to it. You literally can take it even more so than like say your Xbox One or PS4. You can just take this thing anywhere. You can take it. Play it at your house.
Yeah.
Play it at your work.
That's really cool.
I mean, I watched one video. I think was it CNET where the guy like literally went on vacation, and took it with him to see if he could.
Oh wow!
And it works. And
that's really really good.
So it's one of those things where it's only a 2-hour battery life, but the way that people play VR, people are not spending more than an hour at a time really in these VR games.
A lot of motion sickness past that point.
Yeah. It has a lot of games coming out during the launch on May 21st, but most of them are like older VR games that are
just going to be on the Quest.
Yeah, like Rec Room, Beat Saber, Creed. So all that stuff. And then like Vader Immortal, which is going to be on Quest and Rift, is coming out that day. So that would be more of a launch title. And so Doran, you played that, I remember.
Yeah, and I think I talked about it a little while back, but the Vader Immortal on this Quest was phenomenal. Like I felt like there were no restrictions because in this game they actually have you turning around a lot to do different things. So there was I felt free as hell.
That's really good.
Just walk, like I feel like I could. This would make me want to spend more time with it because like when we were doing when I did the Iron Man VR one, the Sony PlayStation Iron Man VR one back in San Francisco, like I found myself getting a little tangled up because you're flying everywhere. So I would love to see like I doubt it would happen because it's a PlayStation exclusive.
It'll probably maybe inevitably because like Batman Arkham VR was PlayStation VR exclusive and it inevitably made it to the Oculus.
So I hope this will be the perfect game to have because you're flying around too much as Tony Stark. Not like those cords. I could see that being an issue down the line.
Like wrap yourself up, fall over.
You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, what's the price? On
well,
the
that's
Quest?
the thing. Is also another good thing about it. It's $399 for the system, which is
that's
not
a pretty good sell for anyone who's not like on the fence on VR.
Yeah, I mean it's not like if it's like a $199, $299, $250 or something like where like people just $399 is still a decent amount, but that's equivalent to a console system, a new console system. It's $499 for the 128 gig version, 64 gig is but I mean it comes with the headset and the controllers, and that's all you need.
Right.
And then you pay and download the games onto it. So another cool thing that it does is like, we have a HTC Vive here.
Yep.
And as some people who've listened to this podcast know, we're working on the Twin Peaks VR game. And so anytime we kind of either move around the headset or basically the VR system, which is hooked up to a laptop, we have to reconfigure the room. We have sensors and whatnot. What this does that's very cool is that it has pass-through cameras. So usually when we do it with the HTC Vive, you can't have the headset on, and you got to like, you know what I mean? It's almost like a two-person process. One person's like, hey, do this, do that.
Yeah.
This one, you can put the headset on, and because of pass-through cameras, you don't even have to like, in that one, you have to like walk around the room to like trace steps.
Yeah.
This one, literally, you point because you have the pass-through cameras of where you want to outline your play area. So you're literally just like pointing.
That's really good.
Yes.
That's where VR needs to get.
And it does this thing, which is, they likened it to the Star Trek holodeck, which is, so when you're playing, after you outline your play area, and then you're playing your game, it's fine. But if you're getting too close, of course, they'll have warnings, which all of them do. But what's cool is once you pass that kind of barrier that you had put up, the pass-through cameras turn on, and you suddenly see the real world.
Oh, wow. Shit.
And then when you pull back in, it jumps back into the VR world. So it
That's
basically, in essence, makes that player the VR space. And as soon as you step out of it,
you see
exactly
your room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, that's dope. I would get that.
Yeah, so it just makes things so much easier, safer, and you know what I mean? It just...
The whole crashing a bunch of stuff.
See, that's the funny thing is like this is the one that it's not the most powerful. The graphics are not going to be the best on it, but it's the most user friendly.
Which is what is most important at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially for new technology like this.
So if I like left out of the room, it would still like keep the camera like part on. Like I would just see everything. Like
the camera would turn to the pass-through camera, so you could see like real light.
Yeah. So if I like walked outside my house, I would still have it on, but I'd be able to see outside.
Yes.
Oh,
you
dope.
I'm gonna VR real life,
dude. I'm just walking.
Or you could take it off and use your eyes.
Yes, use your eyeball.
All right, sounds stupid in comparison.
No, but it's great for in a room because let's say hypothetically, this is it's such a random example, but let's say, I don't know, your girlfriend's in the other room and she's, I don't know, making something to eat, and she comes over to ask you something like, "Hey, should we eat this or that or whatever?" And you don't know what she's talking about, and she's like has whatever in her hand. Like
you step out.
You stick your head out and take a look. And then, that one or whatever. Or it doesn't have to be food. It could be anything. Yeah. What color do you want? The pass-through cameras are not like super because they're purely just for that purpose. So they're not super clear in HD and whatnot. But it's good enough to see your environment and know what's going on.
It's good. Just like you said, this seems to be the user-friendly VR machine. It's definitely not going to have the most highest power and graphics.
And it never will because it's a portable headset, so all the graphics power has to be in the headset.
It's the same way I look at something like the Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
There was a lot of controversy online about the graphics for Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch, and for me, it's like,
it's a portable system.
Do you understand the point of the console? I can I can get on the plane when I'm heading back home and play Mortal Kombat 11 on a plane with my Switch.
Yeah.
That's awesome. If it runs at 60 FPS, we're golden. I am totally happy. I don't really care about graphics being of the highest fidelity if it means they can have a really good gaming experience. And that's what the Oculus, or this version of the Oculus, seems to do.
Yeah, I liken to laptops versus desktop. No laptop ever will, at the very highest, is ever going to be the desktop at the very highest.
Yeah.
Right? But the laptop is portable, and so it has that purpose, and that's what this is. And people say it's very simple to use. You press an on button because,
hit the nail on the head.
The kind of barrier of entry, one is cost for VR, and two is ease of use.
Yeah.
Which this eliminates. You power it on like you power on anything else. Turns on, and then you get into it and start playing versus, setting up sensors and having a separate desktop or laptop that's hooked on with the tethered device and whatnot. So I think this is revolutionary in the sense of getting that the regular, either casual gamer or casual technology fan to play it. It's almost like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, I feel like some of the Apple devices, like the iPhone or the iPads, they're user-friendly for people who aren't really into tech stuff. And like my mom and my dad, they have iPhones and iPads because I personally don't. My girlfriend has an iPad, but I have PC stuff or whatever because to me, there's I know how PCs operate and like an Android phone operates, and it's a little different than an iPhone. So I feel like this VR, the Oculus Quest, is that okay, a regular person
there you go
can handle it. So so that comes on May 21st. I think it's going to be a pretty big deal. And look, it may not be the one that blows open the door for VR, but I think it's going to be the first kind of one that sets the example.
I think so.
Later on,
this should be. If we're gonna, even if we have to work at the expense of the games not looking at their best, this will help a lot more people open up to VR. Yeah. Because even if let's say I'm on the fence and I think VR is a cool thing and I'm like, should I buy it? You look at the Oculus and all the things that you have to set up to get that thing working. It's a bit of a daunting task, and some people are just like, forget it. This removes that. This makes it so that, hey, you just get the headset and the controllers, and you're good to go. So I think that's awesome, and that will hopefully be a sell for people.
Dorian played Vader, and did you find the graphics extremely lacking?
No, it was
still looked fine.
Yeah, it still looked like a VR. I've done a decent amount of different VR headsets now, but for the most part, it just seemed like a normal, regular. I'm playing and how Vader came up to me because that's the start is he's walking up to you. He's tall.
What a spoiler! Vader Immortal has Vader in it. Oh my god!
Bad, bro. Spoilers. But
unbelievable.
But he literally is 7 foot because I'm 6 foot. So I think they adjusted to whatever.
I'm tall.
Bro, sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Short. I'm sorry, Caboose. You have to live like that.
Wow.
But yeah, he was actually menacing, standing over me, talking down to me. So it seemed like a regular VR game. I had a blast with it.
It's like how I talk to you when we play Mortal Kombat,
bro. That's a whole. You can see. Okay, I know I talk crap, but we already said this a long time ago. I said that give me a few weeks to actually train. And I still won a couple rounds, regardless of what happened.
You didn't win a game.
Okay, but I still won a decent amount of rounds. and that's Caboose's month versus my week.
What is it? Where do you get this number? I've been playing it for a month. I haven't had the game since April 1st.
I'm including the beta versions. You already had a
but I don't play as the beta
with,
characters.
Okay. Oh, well, you already had the controls under your belt.
Well, you were at the reveal event.
Hey, excuses. What's the next subject, Dennis?
So, on to the other flip side of the VR headsets that were also revealed this week.
You said we had some from Steam, right?
Yes, yeah. Valve's Index VR. So Valve actually partnered with HTC to do the HTC Vive, which is the one that a lot of people have now. We have that here, but Valve has separated from HTC to do their own VR headset. And so this is kind of like the opposite of what we were just talking about. Right. This is for the hardcore VR guy, the premium. Yeah. They know what they're doing.
You want to get the best
and
of the
they
best.
want the best. This is like the IMAX Dolby Prime version.
This is like the Xbox One X of VR systems.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is one. So the headset alone is $500. So that one's more than. And this is.
Yeah.
You still need a PC to drive this thing. So you need a laptop and whatever. And then the controllers for it are $279 for the pair.
Holy smokes.
And then the sensors, I don't know what they buy separately, but you can buy the whole set for $999. So that's for the headset, the controllers, and the base stations, which you have to set up. And this does not include the PC that you have to have, right? But on the flip side of that, this is like the graphics are much better than something like the Quest.
This is going to look the best it will look.
This is the best it will look. It has like speakers that are much better than what you're going to get on the Oculus Quest. It just in terms of like frame rate and graphics, all that stuff is all optimized. Your field of view is most likely better. You know what I mean? Just you're getting a fuller experience. They're talking about the hertz rates it's much higher, the refresh rates, and so you're not getting that motion sickness that sometimes people get with VR. So like I said, this is the opposite of the Oculus Quest. This is the other end of the spectrum where it's like, if you know about VR and you want the best, this is going to be it.
What is it called?
It's called the Index VR. The
Index VR.
Yes. So the controllers are different. So the HTC Vive controllers nowadays,
it's got that like circular ring and stuff.
It's got a circular ring. Even the Quest ones are different. They have a circular ring as well, but it has like a little analog stick. The HTC Vive doesn't. It has a trackpad. Okay. This one has, it's like they're called knuckles, and so you grip them differently like this, but it has finger tracking on it. So so within the game, you can actually when you have your hand, it'll know what your fingers are doing, so you can pinch stuff. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So you're having more of that mobility. So versus right now in VR, you use the trigger to either, let's say, fire a weapon or use it to pick up something or open a door. And it's just really that one trigger, right? You just hold the trigger and you do something. Where this has the ability to tell what your fingers are doing. Yeah. So you can make games that are a little more complex when it comes to dealing with objects.
So question, if I had, say, my HTC Vive controllers and I had the whole, sensors and everything already, is this Index VR compatible with all that stuff?
Yes. So this is one thing. If you don't want to buy the whole $1,000 and you just want to get, let's say, instead of what I'm talking about, the finger tracking stuff, and you just want maybe the higher fidelity, higher resolution, graphics, you can buy the headset just for $500. It works with your HTC Vive base stations and your controllers. Cool. You're just not getting the more advanced technology. So that's why they're selling it separate for $500 because it's like, if you just want to upgrade that portion of it. But reminder, it's still tethered. So you're not having that freedom that we're talking about with the Quest. Yeah. So you still have that limitation. They actually have this weird, because it has this glass thing in the front of it, but it has, when you open up the kind of little glass shield, it has this port for a USB 3. So you can attach. Basically, they said that they're doing that for modders and people who want to create new things. For now, people are creating LED things for their headsets.
Okay.
So that when like other people, I don't know,
Oh,
I don't know
it
how
looks
often
cool.
people watch other people playing VR. VR is a very,
It's like they're
you know
like
what I
a
mean?
DJ or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So most people are doing that at this
Gotcha.
point. Also, the one thing of note is Valve is promising a flagship title from them for this system. So people are speculating.
A Valve-developed game.
Yes. So people are thinking Half-Life 3. I don't think it is. I think it's going to be Portal 3.
That makes sense.
Because the way that Portal works is much more fits into that VR
I just
world.
hope that it's not VR exclusive. You know,
I don't
like
know.
if I can still play it outside of VR, that'd be really cool.
I could see it being a timed exclusive.
I can see it being that as well, especially because if it's anything, whether it be Portal, Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, that would sell units.
think about how Portal, like you
For sure.
shoot the portal, you know, stick your head in.
It's the one that requires the least kind of
Graphics,
craziness
yes.
from your eyes. Like definitely, if you're jumping through portals, it might get a little messed up. But outside
think about
of
how
that,
cool that would be, though.
hell yeah, that would be awesome. And the puzzle, I mean, if just hearing the words that Valve is going to make a game,
Yes.
is pretty unheard of as of late. So
Well, because they're making so much money off Steam, they don't care. But
that's why they haven't done Half-Life or Left 4 Dead 3 or Portal
but
3.
In another store we're going to talk about, Epic is attempting to supplant them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, not buy them out, but
compete
buy
with them. Yeah,
developers out.
yeah. So there you have it. Two very important headsets. I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about the high-end one, and then you're talking about the one that is for the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the one for the masses is, I think, the one that's going to be very interesting to see.
I agree.
Because if the sales of that are great and developers start building stuff for the Quest specifically.
To help improve it and stuff. Yeah.
I think it's smart to drop it now while there's no like other and other devices like dropping at the same time. So drop it while nobody has that type
That's
of,
right. The Quest is this month.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm very
cool.
intrigued. And, from what you said, Thad played it, Perry played Vader Mono on the Quest, and everyone seemed to have a pretty good experience with it and was very fluid and whatnot. So,
I only got to play I only got to play for about 15 minutes, and I had a great time. So I love to actually immerse myself in it and play for like 30, 40 minutes actually.
and I think that's how that Vader Moto game is going to be like, because they're doing episodes, right? And I think each episode is probably only 45 minutes to an hour, which is about the maximum time you're going to spend in VR at a time.
Much. Yeah.
And so imagine having a Vader episode every single month. They come out with a new episode. And then
That could be huge.
and you're only paying, let's say, $10 for each episode, but you're hooked. And then you pay for the other one, the next one, and the next one. So
Damn. VR's the wave. Gotta get
VR, they're making moves. They're making moves.
All right. Next topic, we've got A Plague's Tale, Innocence. 8 minutes of gameplay came out. This is a game that I think we're trying to get a review code for. I remember seeing this at one of the demos. I think it was was it the Sony press conference? I forgot which press conference they had at E3 last year. That
I don't
they showed
remember seeing this game.
Yeah, I remember seeing this, and I was just very intrigued because it's set up in a way that it's, a game that's, it's not a mainstream. I mean, it's basically about the plagues.
Yeah.
and
There's no real antagonists, it seems. The antagonists are rats.
Yes, exactly. You're just trying to avoid the plague, or you play as a young girl in the
I think there's 2 playable characters, but the demo that we saw specifically has the girl as the playable character.
Yeah, and so it's a time period one. It's not a sexy time period, right? It's not like Rome, or you know what I mean? It's not Vikings.
It's dirty, it's grimy, it's gross.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of the game. It's kind of light on the horror, but a survival horror style.
Yes,
game.
with stealth, a lot of stealth to it.
Stealth puzzles.
Before
you made a really good point.
I was talking to Caboose about it while I was watching. It seemed like a medieval type Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
In that type of vein. And she was crawling, ducking, and you have to tumble.
There's puzzles and a lot
survival
of stealth
puzzles.
involved.
It says, and so I don't know. I like
it. Sounds intriguing. Yeah,
I like the
different kind of a game, different pace.
It's
from
coming
what we've been
out
getting.
on May 14th, and so we should be
Which
getting the
is pretty crazy.
review code soon. Yeah, it's gonna be on the PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And
okay, so it will be multi-platform.
Wait,
Yeah.
May.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Rage
so-
2, doesn't Rage 2 come out at the same time? Then?
maybe
I think Rage 2 is coming out this month.
Maybe.
You can let me know if we get our hands on that.
Yeah, where is our review codes for that? So there's a game that we're keeping an eye on and see how it goes. I think it's one of those games where if it hits right, much like, I don't know how much I love Alan Wake, where it's like it's not going to be a huge game,
Right.
but it's going to hit a certain demographic.
I feel like this is kind of right up your alley because of that fact.
Yeah.
Alan Wake is a bit more of a tame game, especially on the combat side of things.
It's not a complex
right. And that seems to be the case with this game. It's very, very heavily focused on the stealth and definitely very heavily focused on the puzzles, I assume.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm going to have a tough time.
Cool. So next one kind of goes related to what we're talking about. Before Epic buys Rocket League developer Psyonix, and they're going to stop selling the game on Steam. They're still, if you bought the game on Steam, they're still going to, you're still going to have it. They're still going to support it. There's just any new copies and any future versions of this game will be Epic exclusive.
That's right. Psyonix came out and they cleared up some confusion. They said, no, we're not getting rid of your copy of Rocket League. It's just now it's being distributed on the Epic Game Store for the PC side of things. People have their opinions on the Epic Game Store right now. It's hard for me to jump into this debate because I'm not an avid PC gamer. I play PC games, and I understand where PC gamers are coming from. I just think it's a little over-exaggerated. I'm going to have to duck and cover as everyone in the comment section is grabbing their pitchforks. But, I mean, it makes sense. If you're Psyonix, if you're anyone who works at Psyonix, this means you get more money in the long run. And if you get more money in the long run, you fund your esports better, you fund your game better, you can update the game with more new stuff and cooler new stuff because you're getting more funds. So I think in the grand scheme of things, this is healthy. Obviously, the Epic Game Store is not, it's got issues. It's definitely not up to speed with Steam. And hopefully the folks at Epic Games are hearing the outcry and are listening because people are, literally, if you say Epic Game Store, it starts a riot. So people are not happy with it. So hopefully they're taking in that feedback and they're working on it. I can only imagine how busy it is there, though, with everything that goes on with Fortnite. But if they can fix up the Epic Game Store, if they can make it a little bit better, then a lot of more people will ease up on this whole thing. And I think come time for Borderlands 3 releasing, September, I think we'll see a lot of changes happen. I hope so, at least. But if we're talking about this whole topic logically, if you're Psyonix, this is the right move to make for your company.
Yeah.
No.
So it's gonna be interesting. It's much like the stream wars that we keep talking about. Like, all right, it's gonna be the store wars and people everything. I just don't want to get to the point where I gotta download 6 different freaking app/software just to play different games. You know what I mean? It's just like with the streaming services now.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are upset about it as well. Is even if the Epic Game Store was up to speed, they want their games in one place. And it's funny, too, because, a couple of years back, PC gamers would be the ones laughing down at us. It's like, oh, you peasants and your Xbox and PlayStation war. We'll never have that. We just play games on PC.
Yeah.
Flash forward to now. There's a whole quote-unquote console war just on the platform of the PC. So, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some Twitter questions. Dorian, what do we got here?
All right, so this is going to be a hard one for you guys. Mario PR05 asks,
Okay.
Choose one you can only play for the rest of your life.
Oh, boy.
Arkham City, Spider-Man PS4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Uncharted 4, or The Last of Us.
Why?
You can only play one for the rest of your life.
So The Last of Us I cut out immediately because that's a great game.
It's not
Couldn't play it for the rest of my life. Oh boy, everything else is really good. I'd probably cut out Uncharted since it's linear. It's not open world. So you don't get too much enjoyment out of it except replaying the story over and over again. So that gets old. For me, it's down to Batman and Spider-Man. And as much as Arkham City is one of my favorite games of all time, I'd probably choose Spider-Man in the end because it's just newer, it's more modern, and the web swinging is incredibly addicting. So I'd choose Spider-Man.
I go with Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, because I totally forgot that was on the table.
Because I mean, yes, the story is long, so that's like 60 hours. You can play it differently, but eventually you could get sick of it. But you can roam around. There was so much stuff I did not do in the game, even though I beat the game. There was so much stuff I didn't do.
Right.
There's so many side quests, side missions. You literally just ride the horse, go fishing. You can go, you know what I mean? Go hunting.
Yep.
There's
Start
so much to do.
fight,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the environment's so big, I could feel like I was in that world. So, definitely.
It's got online.
Yeah, he's got online.
Oh, man.
Red Dead 2.
All right.
What about you?
Probably between Spider-Man and Uncharted. Maybe throw in Red Dead Redemption just so I can finish it.
Yeah.
Bro,
Unbelievable.
we're busy over here. We got shit to do. But I'll do Spider-Man. All right. The next one is Blade GTR. He asked, with the announcement that Bioware delayed their Anthem roadmap, do you think it will still happen, or will they cancel the game due to low player numbers?
They won't cancel the game, but that roadmap is not happening.
Yeah.
Ever since that whole expose came out from Kotaku, just pretty much giving all the information of how disastrous Anthem was, that I can only imagine what it's like working at BioWare right now and the hell that they're going through, because the game's not in a good state. The player base is non-existent.
So I play the game every day.
Sure. But it's even if you add those updates, who are you updating it for? I don't think all the damage is done. Anyone who was even a hardcore fan of the Anthem, and really enjoyed everything that it had to offer, as little as that may have been, even they're done playing it. So who would these updates be for? I'm assuming they're just going to drop all that and work on Dragon Inquisition and just finish that up. But that's...
Yeah, I mean, we talked about game sales last week, and it's only ranked, number 3 of the year so far. It's they were planning on being number 1. Had the game been better well received, and everyone was talking about it and playing it.
I think they definitely sold well.
They sold well, but they were expecting they were expecting to sell more than that.
They were expecting Destiny numbers.
Yes. So. Yeah.
So.
All right. S. Carter, the Hustle Man 330 asks, "What's the worst video game you've ever played?"
I've ever played?
Oh boy,
man! I gotta look. You guys think I'm older than you guys, so there's a longer history.
I'm trying to think. What about you? Do you got any?
I'm trying to.
That's tough.
I can't think of a game I've just hated.
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to think as well. A lot of the games that I've been excited for, I end up just really enjoying because they live up to the expectation.
Yeah, but what about a game that maybe you played and then just was I'm
trying to think what game did that to me. What game really, not even just upset me, but what game where I was just so disappointed that it didn't end up being what I'd hoped it to be. And I'm trying to think,
I feel like there is something. I'm trying to
Yeah, you're trying to just figure it out. Okay, you know what actually? Okay, it's not the worst video game I've ever played. Mm-hmm. But I'll go with something that was the most disappointing for me.
Okay.
And maybe give it a 1A, 1B, Halo 4 and Halo 5. Those games, like I said, they're not the worst games. They function just fine. They play just fine. But as a Halo fan, those games are so disappointing from a Halo perspective, from a Halo fan's perspective, especially Halo 5. The story mode, because coming off of Halo 4, people had a bad taste in their mouth. So going into Halo 5, 343 knew they had to win some fans back. So when you're going into Halo 5, the story setup is there's this other Spartan who's hunting you down. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was awesome. No Covenant, no whatever the hell, no random alien race, just a guy facing off against another guy. I thought that was fantastic. And then the story mode deals with it in a cutscene. And the rest of the game is about Cortana and the Forerunners. Every boss battle in Halo 5 is literally the same guy coming back constantly throughout the game, and it's the same mechanic. That game is so disappointing. Halo 5 especially, coming off the heels of the bad taste in our mouths that we got from Halo 4. So that's what I'll choose, but it's not the worst game ever made.
Okay. Street Fighter, not the awesome Street Fighter game, but the Street Fighter the movie version.
The game based on the movie?
Yes.
Street Fighter the game based off of the movie based off of the game.
Yes.
It already sounds bad.
Terrible. It had, Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile. And then you were like, what was the point of that? Especially because I guess maybe because it was already in development, but the movie didn't do very well. And the game just was not good.
Another bad game that comes to mind, although it's like a guilty pleasure for me, is Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I don't know if anyone remembers that game. So that was a 3D era Mortal Kombat game. And that was when they were still Midway, I think. They weren't NetherRealm Studios just yet. And they threw everyone in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I think the roster size was something like 65 or 70 characters. It might even be higher. I can't really remember. And they threw every character and the kitchen sink in that game. There was a character, literally, who was a guy in a mocap suit. There was a guy who was all flesh, and his name was Meat. They put everyone in that character. I think that was when they had the creative fatalities, so there weren't any actual designed fatalities for any of the characters, and it was super lazy and not fun. And it was just, oh man, that game was a mess, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine because I remember still just having fun with it, But I can look back and be like, yeah, it was a bad game, Dorian, you got anything?
I don't have a worse game, but since we were talking about Pokemon Detective Pikachu, I'll say Pokemon Black and White is the worst of the series that we've had of all the generations.
If they made a Parks and Rec game, that would be the worst.
Oh, bro,
that would be the worst. Yeah,
the Office game would
be amazing. I know, game of the year. So,
next question. Christopher Corcoran asks, what Bethesda game presentation are you most looking forward to at E3?
What are they demoing?
They got probably going to show off Doom Eternal, I assume. Honestly, I don't even know what else they plan to show because they're not going to show anything from the next Elder Scrolls. I doubt it. They already just showed it last year to be like, okay, shut up, we're making it. Stop asking about it.
I doubt they're doing Starfield because that's for next gen.
I think they actually did confirm they won't be showing Starfield. Yeah. So that's probably for next gen. So I think for me right now, just because I think it's the only thing they're mainly going to want to show. Doom
Eternal. Yeah. I mean, they really have to bounce back after this Fallout 76 debacle. Yeah. I mean, that's when I think of the big debacles, I think of Anthem and Fallout 76, where it's like these two games had so much hype and momentum behind them and fan bases, even though Anthem's a new IP, but Bioware itself had a fan base, and then coming out and just not delivering on what people expected, and just the games kind of just people moved on from them.
Yeah. Luckily, Doom Eternal won't take any of the heat that Fallout 76 could bring. I think that it's very departed from the Bethesda brand. It feels like it's just kind of its own game that lives in its own world. Whereas, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, you feel like, oh, that's Bethesda, right? So Doom Eternal, I'm most excited for. I actually just got to play Doom. Doom is available on the Switch, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I should probably get my hands on that and just play that on my flight home. But
definitely they're focusing on Doom Eternal.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Rage 2 will be out by then, so it doesn't matter.
Right, unless they're going to show DLC or something.
Yeah, and then they're saying possibility they might throw some Fallout 76 content, just to make it look better, you know what I mean?
I'd be scared for what the crowd reaction will be if they show Fallout 76 at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wolfenstein, Youngblood, and then Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. So those are long shots. All right, let's do one more question.
That was our last one.
All right.
That was the last one? Okay, cool.
That was our last one.
Cool. Well, that's it then.
Question. The Office or Parks and Rec? Don't answer it. It's The Office.
Bro.
All right.
We're not going to sit this is for a whole nother debate.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
I'm telling you, Parks and Rec.
Question. Who's better at Mortal Kombat? It's me.
Question. Who's had the game for a month? Answer. Caboose. I've had it for a week. Your boy's been busy. Anyway, Dennis, take it.
Well, I'm going to thank everyone for watching and listening, and I thank the people here. live in studio, all three of us. Even though all three of us do the podcast together, it's very rare that we get to do it live. But you'll be back in
a month.
In a month for E3.
Yep.
And we're going to have a bunch of E3 coverage.
I'll be ready by then.
Okay. Yeah, we'll
Better
have
be.
some more streaming, more Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
Dorian, where can people find you?
You already know Dorian Parks and Rec because Parks and Rec is better than The Office, and you can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CaboosEK and right here on Collider Games.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram Dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Also, this podcast is on weekly on the Collider Factor feed, so subscribe there. Until next time, see you guys later.